Up next on The Bottom Line, Hope Lives Here. We'll take you to an elementary school where it's about more than academics.
The 15 families I spoke to all said they need a dentist. How am I going to get them a dentist?
A program that's geared towards steering kids into a healthier childhood.
You did it! You did it!
And we'll introduce you to a Montgomery County artist who incorporates nature into her work.
And the vines follow a path which is sort of their life.
Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Susan Kenedy. It's no secret that poverty exists here in Montgomery County, and the fastest growing pocket of poverty is in the Up County. But the Thriving Germantown program is working to connect families with services and resources that benefit them in school, at home, and in their communities. The program was started at Captain James Daly Elementary School in Germantown. Nearly 3/4 of the students who attend Captain James Daly Elementary School in Germantown are from low-income families.
Good to see you all.
When Principal Nora Dietz started at the school 11 years ago, about half of the students received free and reduced meals. Today, that number is around 75%. A large group of her students live in the Middlebrook Mobile Home Park, the last existing mobile home park in Montgomery County.
Again and again they kept saying, school's fine, don't need anything else, but I need a dentist. So when I met back with the group and I'm like, look at, so the 15 families I spoke to all said they need a dentist. How am I going to get them a dentist?
She was able to enlist Smile Maryland to come to the school twice a year for dental exams, but the list of needs for her families continued to grow.
Teamwork meant to dream work. We're preparing food sacks for needy kids to make sure that they do not go to bed hungry over the weekend.
Dietz wanted to create the environment of a community school where families could ask for help. Now she's able to do that with the assistance of Thriving Germantown.
All right, are we done already?
Wow.
This is my life. Crystal Townsend is the president of the Health Initiative Foundation, a grant-making organization that supports healthcare nonprofits in Montgomery County. Her group started the 5-year pilot program for Thriving Germantown in 2016 after a meeting with Nora Dietz.
She said, you know, Crystal, my children are hungry. And I just left that discussion knowing that we need to do better as a whole community about making sure our schools are equipped with the resources they need to support families so that our educators can educate.
The Thriving Germantown Community Hub is designed to help Germantown families connect to healthcare, food assistance, ESOL classes, and more. Daly Elementary is the only Title I school in the Clarksburg cluster, and many of the families don't speak the language and are in need of social and emotional support. But with the help of Thriving Germantown, those needs are being met.
When children were experiencing some trouble academically,
Good morning. Hi, Betty. How are you?
we're always like, so, are they healthy? Have they had their eyes checked? And maybe they're not seeing quite right. They need to have an eye exam. Don't know where to go. And then they'd say, well, we need glasses, but I can't afford glasses. So I was like, okay, so what do we do? So that was one of the first things that Crystal helped with, was to get Lighthouse for the Blind on board. And they come now too, several times a year. They pull up their mobile unit. Children go in to see them. They get an eye exam. And then if they need glasses, we get them glasses.
For the past 3 years, I have been technically homeless.
Lloydette Lamoth is a direct beneficiary of the Thriving Germantown program. This single mother of two has a liaison, Kit, who checks in with her on a regular basis to see if there's anything she needs. Lloydette told us that Thriving Germantown has been the support system she's needed while she learns to navigate life on her own.
Especially being a wife, you're used to a certain way. And then when that's taken away from you, you're at ground zero and you don't know what to do anymore. And me being so young, I really didn't know what to do. And I didn't have parental figures to kind of pick me back up again. So I had to turn to the resources of the community. And that's where Thriving Germantown came in. Which is, at first, you have to be super humble to do that, number one. And number two, even though a lot has been happening to you and your trust may not be there, you have to trust somebody to get to where you're going.
As the parents have felt, I believe, that we've listened. that's been one of the major things, is that, you know, that you've asked me, Mrs. Dietz, what do I need? I've told you. And guess what? I've come through with it. And so, so there's that trust.
My investment in you is incredibly important. All of your parents.
Councilmember Craig Rice represents the Daly Elementary community. He says thriving Germantown has made all the difference for both students and parents.
So it's not just about providing resources to the children in the schools, but understanding that they live outside of those school walls. And so all these other things that are affecting them and their performance in schools need to be matched with services that are provided by the greater community.
I'm so glad you're receiving these home weekend meal bags. So here's one for your child number 1. Here's one for the 3-year-old. And Mommy, here's one for you.
I get one. Thank you
Yes,
so
you do.
much. It's critical. I love about Daly Elementary School is they catch you at the preschool age, and they bring the support to the mom or the father or the family with anything that might be lacking, so that they'll strengthen that, so that that's the less thing that you have to worry about in your life of like a million things that you have to worry about.
For more information about the work of the Healthcare Initiative Foundation, visit their website. The Excel Beyond the Bell program brings together a large group of community stakeholders with a focus on creating and sustaining high-quality after-school programs that promote positive youth development. There's nothing quite like the simple pleasure of riding a bike.
Push forward. You did it. You did it. You just did it. Keep going.
And these young riders are getting some valuable lessons in bike riding and safety.
Just take turns riding, stopping, okay? Practicing those brakes, getting off.
Through the Montgomery County Recreation's Excel Beyond the Bell program. This is a pilot program. You see her squeeze the brakes? And for the next several weeks, 48 third graders will be along for the ride.
As you know, we have a bike master plan and the vision master plan as well. And kids are part of that future. They're part of creating a greener economy with less emissions, and they're part of creating safe roadways and safe spaces, and they're future drivers. You're doing it! Who are going to be in the congestion that we're all facing now, and we hope that we're now promoting that leisure education that will transform our community in the future.
Like, it's all about learning how to ride. So here they come now.
The training is taking place at Oakview Elementary School in Silver Spring. The level of experience of the young cyclists varies.
Good.
My heart is starting to pump right now.
Your heart's pounding? Is it because you're nervous? All right.
But the main goal is for the kids to get in the saddle and take a spin, safely. Councilmember Hans Riemer stopped by to give the bikers some encouragement. He says learning to ride a bike is life-changing.
I know that when you combine learning from a young age with programs that we're building, like the dockless bike sharing, where it's very popular with young people, you know, we're building a whole generation of kids who are going to make biking part of their lives, and that's the future. That's what we need to be doing.
The bikes for the program are provided for use by the Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Services, who also donated helmets to the participants.
Boom. You're good to go.
What's fun about riding a bike?
The pedals and the bike moving
When you go
and riding it. Sometimes you go for your family, and that's what my favorite part is about it.
Jeff Wetzel from the Washington Area Bicyclist Association works with the students teaching fundamentals of riding and safety while keeping it light.
Stop.
This also helps them understand some of the rules of the road, what to look for. Even when you're walking on a sidewalk, there's a curb cut, there's a driveway. Understanding what you're looking for can help you be safer. And even when they become drivers, they now know that they have that expectation of there might be a bike on the sidewalk. I need to look both ways and not just look to the left for cars coming.
I think it's really transformational. I think biking in 5-10 years is going to be way more common than it is today. We have to teach kids how to bike, but we have to change the roads, and we have to really rethink how we plan out our engineering so that roads are safe for everybody. We need to think about things differently. We've got to make it safe for people to walk, and so they can use public transportation. We've got to make it safe for people to bike so that they can live that kind of lifestyle.
The 7-week course will culminate with a 45-minute bike tour on June 5th. In the meantime, these young riders will continue their work to come full circle and lead from the front.
Push, 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 push. All the way around, in a circle.
In our next story, we introduce you to a local artist who displays her work across our region. In this particular story, produced by Lauren Olson, we see how she uses color and light.
I'm Diane Saponiak, and I'm a painter and a sculptor. And here behind me is an outdoor sculpture that I call Cursive. I've made 4 other outdoor sculptures. One of them is the River of Styx, and it is shown twice, most recently for the bicentennial of Henry David Thoreau in the park in Concord, Massachusetts. And it's made with fallen branches and sticks that we find on the ground. The next one was Octagon of Summer Grass, which was a steel octagon where the grass was left to grow inside the octagon, and there's a bench for you to sit and watch the grass grow. And we let it grow over the course of an entire summer. So in that vein, what I found were these vines growing in my backyard that grow at a very slow rate, though faster than trees, I guess. And they can be invasive, but what I noticed was that the trees and the vines sort of work together, though the vines tend to win. And the vines follow a path which is sort of their life. And so when you take them down, that path is solidified within the thicker vines, and you see the path they took to grow the way they grew. And I found that path beautiful. It seems to be writing something. I don't know what, but it seems to be writing something. In my paintings, there's a lot of straight lines. And even when I make indoor sculptures out of wood, there tend to be a lot of straight lines. But nature isn't a straight line. And so this was me sort of embarking into looking at these curves, which I sort of identify with the idea that the curve is actually doing something. So there's a meaning in the curve. And this was easy because the meaning was already there. It was created by nature. I didn't have to create that meaning, and I found that very helpful. And then there's one more smaller vine over there if you want to talk about that. It's called Passage. That was the biggest part of the whole vine system that you see here, was that. And it's about this much in diameter, and it had the most agonizing curve to it. To me, it looked like a Japanese samurai little village or something. And so I made it grow out of rocks. So I piled rocks around the end so it looked like it was actually growing out of the rocks because it has such strength. So in the Japanese tea house, the door is very low so that everybody has to crawl through it so that everybody's equal when they get to the other side. They don't, whether they're high honors or just the gardener. Everybody's equal once they're in the tea ceremony. And so I saw this as a passage into like another world. And I think a lot of art is just a passage into another world, because it just takes you to someplace else that you just weren't before.
And as we leave you this time, we'd like to pay tribute to a dear friend of ours who was a big part of the County Cable Montgomery family. Ron Gregory lost his battle with cancer on May 3rd. Ron was a gifted artist, friend, and all-around terrific person. He was responsible for the creation of our channel logo. He designed the open for this show and Parks Rec and Roll, and he created the channel's award-winning community bulletin board. Ron was also a gifted photographer, and his talent will live on in the beautiful photos he captured. We will miss Ron and his beautiful smile, and we thank him for all that he contributed to our CCM family.